I walked into my wife's office. Heartbeat steady, steps measured, but inside my mind was a battlefield. The air was thick with the scent of her expensive perfume, once comforting, now cloying with the stench of power and control. It mingled with the sterile corporate tang of the office, a space I'd bled years into, chasing approval, recognition, worth. Beyond the glass walls, the city skyline glittered, indifferent. Sunlight danced off sleek furniture, casting sharp angles across her pristine desk. It all screamed authority, control, victory. And there she was, Ashley, seated like a monarch at the head of her empire, perfectly composed, fingers laced, nails immaculate. But it was her smile that stopped me, not her professional, polished grin. This one was cruel, smug, certain. She had been waiting for this. I closed the door behind me. Silence stretched, thick and heavy, but I didn't speak. I wouldn't give her the satisfaction. "Congratulations, Jamie," she said, voice lilting with fake cheer. "Your hard work paid off. I'm promoting my boyfriend Steve instead of you. He's more of a team player." The words hit like a hammer. Sudden, sharp, final. 5 years. 5 years of sacrifice. Of missing birthdays, skipping holidays, killing myself to build her company. 5 years of loyalty. For what? I stood still, calm, unreadable. I'd learned to master my emotions in this place. She wanted a reaction. She wouldn't get it. Instead, I reached into my pocket and pulled out a crisp white envelope. I placed it gently atop her reports, pushing it toward her with quiet finality. "I understand," I said. "Here's my resignation." A flicker of surprise passed through her eyes. She hadn't seen this coming. She thought she held all the cards. She thought I needed this job. She thought wrong. She picked up the envelope and slid a manicured nail beneath the seal. Her eyes scanned the contents, first quickly, then slower. Her face stiffened. Her lips parted. Her brows drew together. Because it wasn't just a resignation letter inside. It was the report. The revolutionary project management system I'd spent 3 years perfecting. The system she ignored. The one I'd patented 6 months ago. Her fingers trembled slightly as she flipped the pages. She tried to hide it, but I saw it. The moment she realized she had just made the worst mistake of her career. "Jamie," she said, voice soft, uncertain. "Why didn't you tell us about this before?" I gave a dry chuckle. "I did. 3 times. You dismissed it." Color drained from her face. She searched for footing. You patented it? 6 months ago." Silence. She straightened in her chair, trying to claw back control. "Let's be reasonable," she said, carefully. "We can match whatever offer you've gotten, maybe do better." I laughed. This time a real laugh, sharp, clean. "Ashley," I said, using her name deliberately. "It's not about money." Her jaw tightened. She knew what was coming. "It's about respect, something I never got here." I adjusted my jacket, slipped my watch back on, and stepped away from her desk. "You and Steve enjoy the promotion," I said. "I'm sure you'll do great without me." And I walked out. I didn't need to look back to know she was panicking. She thought she had won. She thought she had played me. But she had never realized I had been playing my own game all along. Later, at the cafe, I stirred my coffee as Noah Grant leaned forward, a subtle grin playing on his lips. "Evermark just promoted a guy I wouldn't trust to manage a lemonade stand," he said. "But I hear you have something worth far more." I said nothing. He continued. "Your system. Streamlined productivity, eliminated inefficiencies, industry-level disruption. Evermark was blind, but I'm not. I want it, and I want you." I let a slow smirk spread across my face. "You've done your homework. That's my job." I leaned back. "It's not just a tool, it's a game changer. It predicts obstacles, adapts in real time, and makes workflow scalable, efficient, foolproof." He nodded. And you patented it 6 months ago, which means Evermark has no claim. Noah's smile widened, tinged with something like admiration. I like the way you think, and I like what you've built. I want it. I sipped my coffee. That depends. On? What you're offering? He slid a folder across. The table. I opened it. Triple the salary. 10% equity in Westbridge's next innovation division. VP of Strategic Development. Full creative control. I kept my face unreadable. But inside, I was already building the future. I have 2 conditions. He raised an eyebrow. Go on. 1. Full autonomy over implementation. No red tape. Done. 2. I want the press. He laughed. You want the credit? No, I said. I want the world to know exactly who built what Evermark threw away. He extended a hand. I shook it. Game over. Game on. Make sure Evermark's name is in bold. That's what I told Noah as I sent him the draft of the press release. He chuckled. You really want to twist the knife, don't you? They underestimated me, I said simply. I just want them to understand exactly what they lost. Noah leaned back in his chair, appraising me with a knowing smirk. Then he extended his hand. Welcome to Westbridge, Jamie. I shook it. Firm, final. This wasn't just a career move. This was payback. That night, I walked into my apartment, feeling lighter than I had in years. For too long, I'd let Evermark define my value. I let Ashley dictate the narrative, let a system built on politics and favoritism determine my worth. But now I was the one writing the rules. My phone buzzed. I glanced at the screen. An email from Ashley. I didn't even have to open it to know what it said. Subject: Let's talk, Jamie. I think we may have made a mistake. I smirked. Of course she wanted to talk now. Instead, I drafted a quick email to Noah. Looking forward to the press release. Make sure Evermark's name is in bold. Then I set my phone down, poured myself a drink, and sank into the quiet, satisfied stillness of a man who had just turned the tables. 2 weeks later, my last official day at Evermark. I walked through those glass doors one final time, and the air was different. Tense. Watchful. Some people looked at me with curiosity. Others with fear. Especially the ones who had hitched their wagons to Ashley. They weren't just watching me leave. They were watching the fallout begin. I wasn't supposed to be walking out like this. Confident, clean, on my own terms. I was supposed to be bitter, lost. Instead, I was walking out a king. As I packed up the last of my things, an email pinged on my screen. Subject: Final meeting. CEO's office from Ashley Wright on cue. I exhaled, adjusted my jacket, and walked down the hall. Same hallways, same faces, but everything had changed. Because now, I was untouchable. I stepped into her office without knocking. Ashley looked up from her desk, but the smug smile was gone. In her hands, my resignation letter and the report. She'd finally read it, and now she understood exactly what she had lost. Jamie, she began carefully, her voice trying to stay composed. Why didn't you tell us about this system before? I chuckled, quiet, ironic. I did, 3 times. Her face went pale. She shuffled through the pages, her fingers trembling. She wasn't just realizing she had ignored something valuable. She was realizing she had ignored the one thing that could have saved Evermark. You patented it? 6 months ago. Silence. The kind that stretches out and makes you realize just how badly you've screwed up. She straightened in her chair, grasping for some semblance of control. Jamie, let's be reasonable. We can match whatever offer you've got, maybe even beat it. I smiled. Cool, controlled. It's not about money, Ashley. It's about respect. Her jaw tightened. She hated that word, because she knew she had never given me any. For years, I continued, you treated me like I was disposable. I pitched this idea to you 3 times in this very office. You told me it wasn't practical, that we weren't ready for that kind of change. I nodded toward the document in her hand. And now you're finally reading it, because I'm leaving. She opened her mouth. I didn't give her the chance. Enjoy your promotion. You and Steve are going to need all the luck you can get. And just like that, I walked out. For good. She was next. The board was furious. Investors were threatening to pull out. Rumors of a forced leadership restructure were spreading like wildfire. Ashley thought she had won, Jake said as we sipped coffee a few days later. She's realizing now that she played herself. I chuckled. Of course she doesn't get it. Ashley had always valued politics over substance, image over innovation, and now the very thing she ignored was the thing burning her kingdom to the ground. So what happens next? I asked. Jake raised an eyebrow. The board's scrambling. They're looking for someone to clean up the mess. From what I hear, they want you. I rolled my eyes. Of course they did. After years of being overlooked, dismissed, undervalued, they needed me. But they were too late. Westbridge had already given me everything Evermark refused to. I wasn't going back. The next morning, my phone vibrated. Another email. I didn't need to read the name to know who it was from. Subject: an opportunity. Jamie, I think we may have made a mistake. I'd like to discuss an opportunity for you to return. Name your price. Ashley. I smiled. Of course she wanted me back. But the problem was, I wasn't for sale. I typed my response slowly, deliberately. Ashley, I appreciate the offer, but I'm exactly where I need to be. Best of luck, Jamie. I hit send. And just like that, the door to Evermark was closed. Forever. 2 days later, the phone calls started. Voicemail after voicemail. She was desperate now, used to being the one in control, the one everyone cheeked.